Deltarune Chapter 5 has a very relaxed opening, where you get introduced to Loaf Toriel, and assumedly, you get to give her some honey toast. And then after the 10 most engaging seconds of gameplay you have ever seen before, I'm pretty sure Toby made this take actual time just to make the beginning more relaxing and casual. Well, you can do what 99% of people will do and take this honey toast to your mother, who specifically asked for it, or you can be Chris. Do something that Chris would 100% do, and take the toast into the bathroom, flush the toilet, at which point Toriel will say, "Chris, don't flush my toast!" because she knows that this is 100% something Chris would do. This is the kind of dialogue that I wanted to show you all today in this video. I have around 10 very obscure and unique pieces of dialogue that will happen when you do things that the average person 100% would not do when playing Deltarune. And by the way, if you flush the toilet again, Toriel will continue to plead for you not to flush her food down the toilet, which is very sad that she feels the need to do so at all, but then again, we are making Chris do this. Maybe Chris wouldn't be doing this otherwise. So hey, if you all enjoy learning about these kinds of obscure facts and information about games, please like this video and subscribe to Killroy Was Here. This is kind of my MO. I love finding and sharing stuff like this. Now, let's go on to more obscure dialogue. At the start of the Dark World, you can interact with the wardrobe Rousey came out of, and Susie will say, "Dude, there's hats in here, you want one?" Rousey will decline, to which Susie will say, "Okay," and get hats for herself and Chris, of course. We can finally join Rousey in the Hatted Squad. And Rousey will say, "Did you ask Chris if they want to wear ones?" Nah, they have to. That's right, Susie. Chris doesn't get a say in anything. She gets what's going on. She knows what it's like to have full control over Chris. And we can bring these hats over to Flowery, and finally have a cutscene where all 3 party members are hatted. But we don't get the silhouette, sadly. And if we go back when Rousey has his hat, we get new dialogue here. Susie will ask how Flowery knew about his hat, and Rousey said, "Oh, I don't know, probably from my icon or something." To which Susie has no questions to ask because she just goes with the flow and doesn't care about meta elements. But yeah, the actual icon Rousey has in the menu always looks like that. But if you go into power, that menu has Rousey with a hat when he has a hat, and without a hat when he does not. So he is right. For whatever reason, Rousey's base icon always has a hat, even when he's hatless. And can someone please explain to me how Flowery's supposed to know this anyway? One whole room later, we have an interaction that I'd assume most players have seen already, in which Susie learns to accept wearing ribbons and other feminine kind of equipment. Well, specifically ribbons in this case. And most people after seeing this cutscene would give the ribbon to Susie, or maybe to Rousey like they did in Chapter 1. Instead, if you give the ribbon to Chris, you get unique dialogue and one of the most horrifying sprites I've ever seen. Rousey says Chris looks really nice, Susie says it's cool that Chris can wear anything, then takes Rousey's glasses, and then we are treated to this abomination. We've seen Rousey without glasses before. The eyes don't look like that. Toby, stop making exaggerated sprites, please. You're going to ruin my eyes forever. And by the way, just like every Rousey sprite that exists in this beginning section of Deltarune Chapter 5, there exists a hatless version as well if you come back here after Rousey loses his hat. So, tell me in the comments, everyone, who wore it worse? Which of these sprites makes you want to gouge out your own eyeballs more? Please, give me your feedback. I personally think hatless Rousey sprites is somehow even more horrifying. There's a lot of rooms in this beginning section of Deltarune Chapter 5 which expect Flowery to be around, and Rousey to still have his hat on, but as you can see, Rousey is hatless, and at this point in this save file, Flowery and Asgore have gone off to the castle. So, don't listen to the voice that you're hearing emanating off of these flowers. Flowery is not here. And this room has an interaction that normally would expect Flowery to come in and encourage Susie. But since he's not here, we get an entirely different interaction, where Susie asks us if Noelle would like these flowers, and Rousey is the supportive one. Although he does have to remind her, flowers you should get them from the light world. These aren't really flowers you can bring out there. But better than that, we get Rousey supportive that Susie feels love towards someone. And of course, Susie has to ask if Rousey is the expert, because whether he is dating all around the empty castle town. And of course, yeah, he was. I don't think you can decide that. No, Rousey, I've decided. It's canon for my playthrough right now that you are a player and you're getting all the lovin' in Castletown. And though it pained me to tell such a bold-faced lie, I also said nah, and Susie said don't act like Rousey has no game. Rousey does not want to talk about this any further and gets a very funny sprite when we start talking about this. Okay, look, just don't say it out loud. Look, Susie, don't insult Rousey. I only said he didn't have game because I wanted to explore every option. I 100%, you've seen Rousey flirt before. He can flirt well. By the way, you get all the equipment here for free, and for some reason, Flowery still pops in to say Flowery dollars, even though the whole point of this cutscene is that he wasn't here to... Flowery doesn't abide by real logic, okay? None of this has to make sense. It's fine. Flowery being in the castle does change a lot of things about this first area, like that Floridin. He is not supposed to be there. He is blocking your way further on, and when you try to get past him, he will say, this area is closed due to dangerous dashing accidents. I wonder who caused those. If you want to return to the cliffs, go through the top left of Diner. So yeah, the second Flowery leaves with Asgore, the entire area with the button puzzles are gone. I want to be part of a dangerous accident first, wait your turn. So it's not closed because dangerous accidents were hurting people, it's closed because dangerous accidents were making Floridans happy. Now, this is part of the canon. If you went down after killing the 2 Floridans in this room before, you know that they love getting dashed into. Thank you for freeing us. We were stuck between those 2 dash gates for so long. It's so much better being in the water. It's wet and we like it. What? Floridans have some of the freakiest dialogue I've ever seen in this game, you know? This line alone. And if you talk to him again, you get another really funny bit of dialogue if you haven't seen it before. It's been so long since I last turned to a prune, talking to wrinkled fingers. What's new, guys? Haha. Yeah, these...
Why are you the way that you are?
I love the Floridans because I think Toby made them the most unhinged creatures this game has seen so far. But TLDR, you cannot progress through this area normally anymore the second Flowery disappears, which is sad. And this is not just a one-way blockade either. Here we are trying to go in reverse to get to the area with the pressure plate puzzles, and we will find that our path is blocked by none other than Shrubbery.
Hey guys.
Everyone knows Shrubbery, we met him couple screens ago back at the beginning of this chapter. But of course, we didn't know his name back then. So, dialogue text, please introduce us. Shrubbery. It's conveniently shaped, but not conveniently placed. You got that right. And there's certainly a love for this conveniently placed object bit in this chapter. And it is very convenient, as it conveniently blocks us, or inconveniently blocks us. And in case anyone's wondering, I don't know why we're blocked from going this way. And now we've made it to one of my favorite rooms in the game. Yes, this is optional, Rousey, but I love these kinds of puzzles, and for this video, this room has a very well-hidden piece of dialogue. Normally, when you're trying to beat this puzzle, you use Rousey to bring down the sheet, and you step on him so that you can gain extra height. I just knocked down a signery, one of Flowery's signs, and he in fact gives you a hint to do just that. He says, as a trick to this puzzle, maybe you should stand on Rousey. It's a boy's treat for a guy like him, which is 1, an odd thing to say, but 2, correct. And because it's correct, we're going to avoid doing it. Instead, we are going to beat this puzzle without stepping on Rousey's back at all, which in the normal world would be a nice thing to do, not to hurt his back. But in this world, it is a bad thing. And because it's a bad thing, Rousey gets very upset that we didn't.
Goodbye.
And Signery did as well. Look, Rousey, I just didn't want to do it, alright?
Goodbye.
Moving on, Mad Mew Mew, or Pink, whatever you want to call her. Every single option to progress the fight forward requires you to flirt with her and to get her Doki meter up, whether that's sharing food, flirting directly, just everything you do has to raise her Doki meter. But What happens if you basically waste your time and don't flirt with her for the entire start of the fight? She has specific dialogue in normal fights that relates to you flirting with her and causing her heart to beat. So what if you just don't do it at all and give her the cold shoulder? Well, if you make it to turn 4 with no flirts and no dokies, Pink will say, "You guys really are doomed. I'm invincible and I don't even feel a single doki looking deep into your eyes." Stop looking deep into my eyes, idiots. Chris with a natural charisma to win a fight by just staring into Pink's eyes. A lot of the most hidden dialogue and interactions in this game come from backtracking to areas where you have absolutely no reason to go to. Before trying that though, I wanted to see if it was possible to catch Green and get some dialogue interaction with them before they get away. It's not possible. This is what I showed on footage, but I tried that like 5 more times and you can never catch Green, sadly. But you can go right here and find Green teleported to this location with Orange. And I never found them in my own playthrough. Green is messing with an edible flower arrangement here, and Orange has this to say: Asgore, he'll be able to walk everywhere, to own everything. And the flowers, they'll take care of themselves. And it's just very sweet. I love seeing the flowers and their dedication to making Asgore's life better. It seems like Orange and Green are working here to make ways for all flowers to support themselves so Asgore can do whatever else he wants with his life, which ironically is exactly what Asgore is trying to do. Even though he is spending his time looking after flowers, he clearly has greater focus on his wife, family, and everything to do with the Dark Fountains. And if you go to the left here, you will find Seth in the sauna, and when you talk to Seth, they have some very, very interesting dialogue. But before that, you tried to climb the stairs. It's not stairs. Chris thought it was stairs. Shut up, Susie. We're doing some heartfelt moments here. I don't want to be made fun of. Chris doesn't want to be made fun of. Asgore, wouldn't it be nice if he could have a hot bath of his own every day? And this really kind of points out the squalor Asgore has to live in. A hose is perfectly fine for a flower, but shouldn't he be able to use something else? They, not only do all of the flowers just appreciate Asgore for helping them stay alive, but they also just want him to be able to move beyond his poor situation, all the pain he's lived with. They are just genuinely great people, all the flowers, and they wish nothing but the best for Asgore. And I'll be honest, this last section of the game where you get to say goodbye to all of the flowers is what inspired me to make this video to begin with. You see, I, and pretty much everyone I know who's played this game, immediately went and talked to the flowers, but you can actually skip all of them and get dialogue from Rouse, Susie, and Flowery that you will never be able to see again if you talk to the flowers first. Rouse says something basic: you should just say goodbye to everyone. And then Rouse says, Chris, the flowers are waiting, so it's nothing extremely important coming from Rouse in this moment. Susie, though, has something more interesting to say. I'm not really good at goodbyes. Why can't everyone just come to our castle town? I know why, but... And I think it's good for maybe Susie to see that not everything can go on forever as she wants. Flowery, though. Flowery has something great to say. We witnessed the dance of people coming through the shop. A parade of smiling faces, of bright laughter. Beings driven by meaning, by emotion, by love. To be monster, to be human, we wanted to know what that meant. It's quite a statement, Flowery. It's time to say goodbye now. When I read that line from Flowery, that first interaction with him about being monster, about being human, it shocked me that this is such an easily missable piece of dialogue, because it gives so much more insight, not just into the flowers as creatures doing everything for Asgore, but they wanted to be able to live like us, like Chris, Rouse, and Susie, like the people in the light world. And even though they're not fully Darkners, they never had that opportunity before. They knew of all the people going into their shop, but they could never be like them. They could never have those connections as we all can. And I just hope that you all appreciated that line as much as I did, because it was something very special to read that the first time. Thank you all for watching this video and learning all this information with me today, because I am learning all this on my own before I get to share it all with you. I hope you enjoyed it. If you appreciated this video, please leave a like and subscribe to Kilroy Was Here. Have a good day, everyone.